Hey there, what's up? I'm Mike Matthews, your go-to guy for all things travel. Man, let me tell you, I've been all over this beautiful planet of ours. From the bustling streets of Tokyo to the serene beaches of Bali, I've seen it all, and I'm here to share that knowledge with you. I've been a digital nomad for years, so I know the ins and outs of long-term travel too. So, tell me, where are you thinking about jetting off to? Let's make your travel dreams a reality.
Digital nomad concept. What are the best places to go to?
All right, my friend, you're speaking my language. Digital nomad life is where it's at. So, you're looking to combine work and travel, huh? That's awesome. Now, when it comes to the best places for digital nomads, there are a few factors we got to consider. We're talking about things like internet speed, cost of living, visa situations, and overall quality of life. But before I start throwing out recommendations, let me ask you this. What's your work style? Are you looking for a bustling city vibe or more of a laid-back beach scene? And how important is a low cost of living to you? These details will help me narrow down the perfect spots for your digital nomad adventure.
I definitely love the beach scene, laid back, but I need fast internet and heavy computing.
Oh man, you're speaking my language. Beach vibes and fast internet, I got you covered. All right, let me paint a picture for you. Picture this, you're sitting on a white sandy beach, laptop in hand, coconut drink by your side, and you're crushing your work with lightning fast internet. Sound good? Now let me hit you with some top spots that tick all your boxes. First up, we've got Bali, Indonesia. Bali's been a digital nomad hotspot for years, and for good reason. You've got places like Canggu and Ubud that are packed with co-working spaces with blazing fast internet. Plus the beaches, man, they're to die for. But here's the real kicker. The cost of living is super affordable. You can live like a king without breaking the bank. Now, what kind of specific things are you interested in hearing about Bali? The food scene, the community, the different areas?
How about dirt biking? Is there any good dirt biking over there?
Oh man, you just hit the jackpot. Dirt biking in Bali, it's like you're reading my mind. Let me tell you, Bali isn't just about beaches and yoga retreats. The dirt biking scene there is off the hook. Picture this. You're ripping through lush jungles, tackling muddy trails, and cruising past rice terraces. It's an adrenaline junkie's paradise. Now, there are a few spots you absolutely got to check out. First up, you've got the Munduk area in North Bali. Man, the trails there are insane. You'll be weaving through coffee plantations and dense forests. It's like something out of a movie. Then there's the Mount Batur region. Imagine dirt biking on an active volcano. How cool is that? The terrain there is more rugged, lots of black lava sand. It's a totally different experience. Oh, and don't even get me started on the Sidemen Valley. It's less touristy, so you get this authentic Bali vibe while you're riding. Now here's a pro tip from yours truly. I always hook up with local guides when I'm dirt biking in Bali. They know all the hidden trails and can take you to spots you'd never find on your own. Plus, they usually provide the bikes and gear so you don't have to worry about lugging that stuff halfway across the world. So what do you think? Can you see yourself shredding those Bali trails by day and coding by night?
Yeah, of course I was gonna bring a bike. That's pretty, nobody does that.
Haha, my man, you're absolutely right. Bringing your own bike would be a total rookie move. I love that you're on the same page. It's like you've done this before, huh? So yeah, renting is definitely the way to go. Now, let me drop some knowledge on you about the bike rental scene in Bali. Most places offer a range of bikes, from smaller 150cc trail bikes to more powerful 250cc dirt bikes. Personally, I'm a fan of the Honda CRF 250L. It's a beast on those Bali trails. But here's the thing, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. The quality of rentals can vary a lot. Some places, man, they'll try to give you a bike that's seen better days. That's why I always recommend going with reputable rental companies or tour operators. They usually maintain their bikes better, and that's crucial when you're tackling those jungle trails. Oh, and here's a pro tip I learned the hard way. Always, and I mean always, check the bike thoroughly before you head out. Brakes, tires, suspension, give it all a once-over. Trust me, it'll save you a headache later. So you feeling pumped about this Bali dirt biking adventure? Or are you wondering about any other aspects of the digital nomad life there?
Yeah, I just wonder what about the electricity? Is the electricity stable? Because I want to bring a desktop. I don't like working off a laptop. I have like a desktop with a NVIDIA GeForce 3080 that I want to bring. Is that going to be a problem for the power over there?
Oh man, I feel you on that desktop setup. Laptops just don't cut it sometimes, especially with heavy computing. Now, about the electricity in Bali, it's a bit of a mixed bag, I'm not gonna lie. Bali uses 230V, 50 hertz power, which is different from the US if that's where you're coming from. The stability, well, it can be a bit hit or miss, especially in more remote areas. Power outages do happen, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But here's the thing, most digital nomad hotspots like Canggu or Ubud, they're pretty well set up for people like us. Many villas and co-working spaces have backup generators, and some even have uninterrupted power supply, UPS systems. Now, about that beast of a machine you've got, that NVIDIA GeForce 3080 is no joke. You're gonna wanna be extra careful with that bad boy. I'd strongly recommend investing in a good surge protector and maybe even a UPS for your rig. It'll give you that extra peace of mind, you know? Oh, and here's a pro tip from your boy Mike. When you're looking for a place to stay, ask specifically about their power setup. Some of the more tech-savvy villas might even have dedicated circuits for heavy-duty equipment. It's worth asking, trust me. So, what do you think? Are you still game for bringing your desktop to Bali? Or are you having second thoughts, maybe considering other digital nomad spots?
Well, I don't really like the idea of co-working spaces, but I like the idea of long-term rental. I got like a little kid, so I want to bring him as well. Is that going to be a problem?
Oh man, bringing the little one along, that's awesome. Family nomad life is a whole different ball game, but it can be so rewarding. All right, let's break this down. Long-term rentals with a kid in Bali, totally doable, my friend. First off, Bali is super family friendly. The locals love kids, so your little one will be a hit. Now, for long-term rentals, you've got options. Villas are popular and can be pretty affordable for what you get. Many come with multiple bedrooms, a kitchen, and even a private pool, perfect for family life. Areas like Canggu, Ubud, or Sanur are great for families. They've got a good mix of local culture and expat amenities. But here's the real talk. You'll want to consider a few things with a kid in tow. Healthcare, for one. Bali's got some decent hospitals, but for serious stuff, you might need to head to Singapore. Education is another biggie. How old is your little one? There are international schools, but they can be pricey. Oh, and don't forget about childcare if you need it. You can find nannies or babysitters pretty easily. Now, about that desktop setup, in a long-term rental, you'll have more control over your workspace. You can set up a proper home office. Just make sure to ask about the electrical setup before you commit to a place. Some villas might need a bit of upgrading to handle your power needs. So, what do you think? Can you see yourself and your kiddo living the Bali life? Or are there other concerns on your mind about bringing a child to Bali?
Yeah, there is. I'm coming with my wife as well, but we're a little bit concerned about the long flight. Do you think you have anything kind of closer to home that you can recommend?
Ah, I gotcha. Long flights with a little one can be tough, no doubt about it. Totally understand wanting something closer to home. But you've got me curious now. When you say closer to home, where exactly are we talking about? Are you coming from the US, Europe, or somewhere else? Knowing your starting point will help me hook you up with some killer alternatives that won't have you stuck on a plane for ages. And hey, while we're at it, what kind of vibe are you looking for? Beach scene like Bali, or are you open to other environments that might be more accessible? Give me a little more to work with, and I'll serve up some options that'll make your family nomad dreams a reality without the long haul headache. What do you say? Where are we working with here?
I'll be home in Santa Barbara, California, and I'm open to suggestions.
Santa Barbara, California? Oh man, you're already living the dream. But I feel you. Sometimes you gotta shake things up. All right, let's work some magic here. First up, how about Puerto Vallarta, Mexico? It's only about a 3-hour flight from LA. Picture this, beautiful beaches, vibrant culture, and a growing digital nomad scene. It's got that laid-back vibe you're after, but with all the amenities you need for work and family life. The internet's solid in most areas, and you can find some sweet long-term rentals. Plus the food scene? Man, it's to die for. Tacos for days. Now, for your little one, there are international schools and plenty of family-friendly activities. And get this, Puerto Vallarta's got some decent mountain biking trails if you want to swap the dirt bike for something a little different. But here's the kicker. The cost of living is way lower than Santa Barbara. Your dollars will stretch much further. What do you think? Can you see your family soaking up the Mexican sun? Or should we look at some other options? Maybe somewhere in Costa Rica or even closer to home in Hawaii?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in reducing the cost of life with 75%. What do you got in that region?
Oh man, you're speaking my language now. Cutting costs by 75%? Let's make it happen. All right, if we're talking Puerto Vallarta in that region, you're in for a treat. So, in Puerto Vallarta, you can live like royalty for a fraction of Santa Barbara prices. And that's for the nice ones. You can go even cheaper if you want. Now, let's break it down a bit. Food costs, they're gonna make you dance, my friend. Eating out can be as cheap as, and if you're cooking at home, man, those local markets are gonna be your best friend. Fresh produce for pennies on the dollar compared to Cali prices. Healthcare is another big win. Quality care at a fraction of US costs. We're talking maybe, now for your little one, private schools can run you about, that's a steal compared to what you'd pay back home. Oh, and here's a pro tip. Look into the Zona Romantica or Marina Vallarta areas. They're great for families and digital nomads alike. But hey, I gotta keep it real with you. There are some trade-offs. The infrastructure might not be as smooth as you're used to, and you'll need to brush up on your Spanish, aunque no mucho. So what do you think? Are you feeling the Puerto Vallarta vibe? Or should we explore some other budget-friendly options in the region?
I like the vibe. So, what are the best kind of places to book, and how do I get there? You know, how do I book like a cheap flight?
All right, my friend, you're vibing with Puerto Vallarta. Let's get you there without breaking the bank. First things first, flights. From Santa Barbara, you're gonna wanna fly into Licenciado Gustavo Diaz Ordaz International Airport, PVR. Now, here's the deal with cheap flights. Timing is everything. Usually, you can snag the best deals if you book about 2-3 months in advance. And try to be flexible with your dates if you can. I always use sites like Skyscanner or Google Flights to compare prices. Pro tip, sometimes it's cheaper to fly out of LAX than Santa Barbara. Might be worth the drive. For the best deals, look at flying on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Weekend flights can be a killer on the wallet. Now, for booking your stay, you've got options. For long-term rentals, I'm a big fan of Airbnb and VRBO. You can often negotiate better rates for extended stays. Don't be shy about asking. But here's an insider tip. Check out local real estate websites too. Sites like Vivanuncio's or Inmuebles24 can have some hidden gems. Just make sure you're using Google Translate if your Spanish isn't up to snuff. Oh, and Facebook Marketplace is surprisingly good for finding rentals in PV. Lots of expats use it to list their properties. When you're looking, focus on areas like Zona Romantica, Versalles, or Fluvial Vallarta. They're great for families and have good internet connectivity. So what do you think? Ready to start hunting for those deals? Or do you need more info on anything specific about the move?
Well, it wouldn't really be a move. It's more like a 3-month kind of getaway. So, you know, yeah. What time of the year would be the best time to go?
Ah, gotcha. A 3-month getaway. Now that's what I'm talking about. Smart move. Dipping your toes in the digital nomad life without going all in. All right, let's talk timing for Puerto Vallarta. It's all about balancing good weather, prices, and avoiding the crowds. So here's the deal. The absolute best time to visit, I'd say mid-October to early December. The rainy season's winding down, temperatures are perfect, and the tourist crowds haven't hit yet. Plus, you might catch some cool cultural events like Dia de los Muertos in November. January to March is high season, great weather, but man, the prices shoot up and it gets crowded. April to June, it's heating up, but still pretty nice. Whale watching season if you're into that. Now, here's a pro tip from your boy Mike. If you're cool with a bit of heat and the occasional rain shower, July to September can be a hidden gem. Prices drop, crowds thin out, and you get to see the lush green side of PV. Just keep an eye on the hurricane forecasts if you go during this time. So thinking about that October to December sweet spot, or are you leaning towards a different season for your 3-month adventure?
Oh, that sounds great. So they have whale watching there?
Oh man, I'm glad you caught that. Whale watching, not Will watching, though I'm sure Will would appreciate the attention. But yeah, whale watching in Puerto Vallarta is absolutely incredible. So here's the scoop on the whales. Puerto Vallarta is one of the best spots to see humpback whales. These magnificent creatures migrate to Banderas Bay from December to March. Picture this. You're out in a boat, the sun's shining, and suddenly this massive humpback breaches right in front of you. It's like nothing else you've ever seen. Now, if you're planning that October to December trip, you might catch the early arrivals. But January to March, that's prime whale watching season. You can see mothers with their calves, males competing for mates. It's like a whole whale soap opera out there. And get this, sometimes you can even hear them singing underwater. It's mind-blowing. There are tons of tour operators offering whale watching trips. Some even have hydrophones so you can listen to the whales communicate. How cool is that? Oh, and here's a pro tip. Book a tour with a marine biologist guide if you can. They'll drop some serious knowledge on you about these amazing creatures. So, what do you think? Does whale watching sound like something you and the family might be into? Or are there other activities you're more interested in for your Puerto Vallarta getaway?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. What about sharks, though? Is there a lot of sharks that we have to be mindful of? Because obviously we want to go swimming too.
Oh man, I totally get where you're coming from. Sharks can be a concern for a lot of folks. But here's the good news. You can breathe easy in Puerto Vallarta.